in the Championship Grand Final here at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium, Warrington. The match will kick off in around about a quarter of an hour's time, and we will be calling one of these two the champions of the Championship. But before we look ahead to that match, we have some dreadful news that's just breaking here on Sky Sports. It's reached us in the past hour or so, and before we move forward, I'm going to read a statement that's been issued by Greater Manchester Police, which says that shortly after 2 o'clock today, the police were called to a house in Orrell in Wigan following a report of a concern for welfare. Officers went to the address and found the body of a 31-year-old man. Inquiries have been launched, but there are not believed to be any suspicious circumstances surrounding the death. And I'm sad to have to report to you that the information that we're receiving that has been confirmed in other quarters is that that is a report of the death of Terry Newton, the former Wigan and Great Britain hooker. So obviously that has cast a massive shadow over the entire proceedings here at Warrington this afternoon. Terry Newton, of course, is a personal friend of many of our team, and I've got Barry McDermott and Brian Carney here, who, as you can see, are visibly shocked and just beginning to take in the news that has only just reached us, as I say, in the last hour. Terry Newton, of course, is a player who had been banned for the use of growth hormones earlier in the year, and was obviously in a fairly troubled place at one stage, but he was on the Brian Carney show, Super League Supermen, not too long ago, and he conducted a very frank interview with you, Brian, and I mean, this has obviously come as a massive shock and a huge blow to the rugby league community as a whole. Yeah, like you say, we've just found out in the last hour, so I thought it'd be all right speaking about it, but just when I hear you confirm that it's happened, Terry's obviously had some issues after finishing it. My thoughts at the moment are with his wife Stacey, and he's got 2 beautiful daughters, and his family. There was obviously no sign when you were talking to him. I mean, I saw the interview, no. And it was a fantastic interview with him. You got right into the heart and the troubles behind the man. But he seems to have put all that behind him. He was looking forward. Yeah, he was ready to go to the next stage of his life, and his rugby league career was going to be behind him. But we don't know sometimes, do we? There was obviously deeper things troubling Terry, and he obviously couldn't find a way out of what was troubling him. No, indeed. I mean, Barry, we're all stunned. I mean, absolutely stunned. Obviously, he did have problems. He was banned for 2 years for the use of this growth hormone steroid. But as I say, on Brian's show not long ago, it looked as though he was through all that. Obviously, it was a huge personal blow to him, but he was building for the next stage of his life.
I remember speaking to him saying, don't let this be the thing that defines you, Tez. Get on with the rest of your life and try and make something positive around what has been an awful experience. And I think it's just a huge, huge lesson to any young kid out there who wants to take a shortcut and he wants to find a way to get the edge. It isn't worth it. This is only a game. We know Stacey, we know Tony, we know the family really well, and they'll be absolutely heartbroken with, of course, the death of his sister not long ago, just a few years ago as well. Dreadful look for that family.
Well, it is awful, and the Rugby Football League have issued a statement as well, which I've just been handed. It says that the Rugby League expresses its sadness and shock at the death of Terry Newton. He is the former Leeds, Wigan, Bradford, Wakefield and Great Britain hooker, of course. And they go on to say that they are deeply shocked and saddened by the news of Terry's untimely death. The chairman of the Rugby League, Richard Lewis, who is here today at this grand final occasion, said this is a personal tragedy and our thoughts are with Terry's partner, his children and his family at this terrible time. I mean, the timing just simply couldn't be worse. Here we are on the grand finals day. His former club Wigan have got through to the grand final last night against his ex-club Leeds. It's you can't begin to imagine what's gone on. It's very difficult to talk about what's happened with Terry in the context of sport because it becomes so irrelevant. This today, next week, when in the context of somebody's life becomes truly irrelevant. He's found himself in a really bad place and found no way out of it, and it's probably been a culmination of things, and there's
Barry said, Barry referred to what he suffered with being banned from rugby league, and I guess the comfort blanket that rugby league had given him for so long, when that was taken away, he found himself unable to cope. And but it's difficult to look at anything other than a huge tragedy, a human tragedy. And I guess it puts so much into perspective. People that were thinking they were having a bad day today, you know,
catch yourself on, basically.
Well, there's always somebody worse off than
absolutely. Barry, you know, the rugby league community, I know that Brian and Terry O'Connor, who I know at the moment is in a dreadful state elsewhere, and you know, people within the community of rugby league have kept in touch with Terry.
Yeah.
You hadn't jettisoned him. He was still your friend, wasn't he?
We cared for him. We care about him in the way that you would a very, very good friend. And the thing with Tez is his heart and soul was in the game. He gave absolutely everything. Opposition fans would look at him and feel sad, really, that he wasn't on their side, because he was such a wholehearted player, and he was one of those players that was loved by his own fans but loathed by others because he was so competitive. But Brian's done a really good job of saying this is just a game, but it was his passion and he loved it, and we're all gutted for his family.
He could be nasty on the field, there's no doubt about that. He could cheat on the field, there's no doubt about that. He's found guilty of cheating with human growth hormone, guilty of that, but he's a human being at the end of the day, you know. And whether you hated him or loved him as a supporter or playing against him, he was a human being, and nobody ever wants to see somebody end up in such despair that he can't see any way out.
You asked him at the end of the interview you did with him, you know, what do you say now? I mean, this is a massive, massive shout, isn't it, to, as Barry has just said, to youngsters and everyone playing this game who are listening and watching out there right now. Whatever you do not go down the path of drugs and human growth hormones or anything else. The drugs, whether they be social, whatever that is, social and recreational, or all this business of growth hormones, you stick away from them.
Terry referred to learning the lesson from his sister's death due to drugs. Don't know.
The family must be absolutely devastated. I mean, Terry's greater family, not just his wife and his two kiddies, who we all feel desperately sorry for at this moment in time, but the Newton family, they've lost a daughter and a son now because of all this.
Drugs are a very serious issue in today's society, Eddie, and like you say, social and recreational, they're as easy to get as going in a pub and ordering a pint of beer, and that's the reality of the world that we live in today. But if there's one lesson to this, it's do the right things, and Tez Newton had the heart of a lion. He was a tremendous rugby player, without doubt the best hooker I ever played with. He was a tremendous rugby player, and I would have him in the side of me of any battle that I went into.
Okay, well, a very, very sad day for the game, a dreadfully sad day for these two guys here in the studio, and I thank you both for coming in and talking to us about it with such passion and with such with diligence and love of the guy that we've just lost. Just to reiterate, Terry Newton has been found dead at his home in Wigan today. He was 31 years of age. Well, there are about 10,000 people out there who are completely oblivious to that news, and they have got no idea at all about the cloud that is now hanging over the Halliwell Jones Stadium here in Warrington. There is a grand final to be played, and it's the championship grand final between Featherston Rovers and Halifax. Let's hear from the two coaches, Matt Calland of Halifax and Darryl Powell of the Featherston Rovers.
Darryl, you won the league by 6 points. You beat Halifax 3 times out of 3 this season. Would it be something of a sporting travesty if you didn't win this final today?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think it's just about us focusing on 80 minutes of rugby league and getting the job done. And we know it's going to be a tough challenge today. Halifax have got loads of quality players, and they're going to be up for this. So, you know, the best team over 80 minutes, and all the rest of the season's out the way. I
know in the end of that playoff game against them, you won by 30 points, but the scoreline was very much tighter for much of that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't much in it for large periods of the game, and you know, you'd say we're a little bit fortunate to win by that many. But like I say, other games don't count. It's about us and being 100% on our game today. Players are focused and relaxed, and I think we're in the right frame of mind to come out here and play as well as we can.
There is a slight school of thought that there might be a bit of ring rustiness with Rovers, because I think you've only played twice in about 6 or 7 weeks. Is there any of that? Do you detect that in training?
No, we've been sharp. We've been sharp and accurate and focused, really. So, you know, there's always going to be a little bit of nervousness. That's the way it is in finals. But we feel like we're ready to go, and you know, we'll see once we get out there. And 80 minutes later, who's going to have been the best team? But we know there's nothing done from what we've done in the regular season.
Matt, you and your players have had 2 bruising battles against Sheffield and Featherston just to get here. How have they come through those 2 games?
Oh, they've come great. There's a great feeling amongst the players at the moment. You know, we've come here today as massive underdogs. No one thinks we've got a chance. We're just going to come here and enjoy ourselves.
What have you learned from the first game against Featherston that will help you turn the form around?
Well, I think it's our goal line defence, isn't it? It was absolutely awful that day. If we can get our goal line defence and control the ball like we did against Sheffield, I think we'll be in with a good crack.
And the one big advantage you've got is your players, and you have been here last year and played in a Championship Grand Final. How much of a key do you think that may be in terms of experience?
I think that'll be real key for us. We've got so many experienced players like Graham Alvarez, played in Challenge Cup finals, you know, and things like that. We've just come here to enjoy it. Last year we were a little bit nervous. This week's been totally relaxed. We've just come here to enjoy the day.
Thanks, Matt. All the best.
No problem.
Matt Calland, who is in that Huddersfield dressing room trying to rally the troops, because for the 8th consecutive year this grand final is being contested by the top 2 teams on the league table. Featherston topped the table, finishing 6 points clear of Halifax, who in turn were 7 points clear of the field. And just thinking there about the interview that we just heard with Darryl Powell as well, if you're just tuning in, the news, tragic news today about the death of Terry Newton. Darryl Powell actually will have played with Terry in the 1998 Super League Grand Final in the colours of the Leeds Rhinos. That's
right. Darryl, of course, would have known Tez really well, as we all did. Trying to sort of concentrate and focus on the matter at hand. The Featherston team today come into this on the back of good form.
Well, and I would imagine, I mean, without being harsh, I would imagine they would keep this news away from Darryl Powell before this match, because he has got a team to prepare and there's a game to play. I mean, we put it into context. It matters not that really with the news that we've heard today, but there is a game to play. It is important to these people who have come here to Warrington, and so can Featherston now go on and win the title. Yeah,
and interesting that we first do talk about Darryl Powell. We mentioned Chris Thorman in the previous game as being a coach with potential. I think Darryl Powell's more than potential. He's proved, and what he's done with this Featherston side and the way he has them playing is testament to his ability as a coach. If Darryl Powell isn't coaching in Super League next year, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't coaching in Super League in the very, very near future. He's wonderfully talented. He's put together a team with some Super League experience, maybe not as much as Halifax, but God, he's got them playing well.
They're a good team and they play well together. There's some threats in the centres. Smeaton and Wellham, 2 young kids. Wellham, the brother of the Hull KR centre. Zach Hardacre won the Young Player of the Year jointly with Gareth Moore from Batley. Liam Finn, who I've worked with personally with Ireland, a great player. Lovely show and goal, lovely kicking game. Plays at the hooker or the half-back position. He won the Player of the Year in the awards night on Monday night. So they are a good side and work well together.
That trilogy that you talk about, the hookers and the halves, Featherston have a very, very good trio there.
And they virtually had a clean sweep of the awards on Tuesday night, did Featherston Rovers. Darryl Powell, Coach of the Year. Can they now pick up the clean sweep in the playing stakes as well? Because they finished top of the table, and here they are going for the championship in the Championship 1 Grand Final. Let's check out the way the 2 sides will line up, shall we? We begin with the Featherston Rovers, and it's Ian Hardman at fullback, then it's Zach Hardacre, Sam Smeaton, Liam Wellham and Tom Saxton, Kyle Briggs and Liam Finn at halfback. Forwards, Tony Tonks, Ben Kay, Stuart Dickens, who is the skipper, Jamie Field, Tim Spears and Matty Dale. And on the bench, there's Andy Kane, John Gratian, Dane Manning and Ross Devorty. And the coach is the Championship Coach of the Year, Darryl Powell. Well, opposite him, Halifax, Shad Royston, who has just signed for the Bradford Bulls for Super League next year. Then the 3 quarters, Lee Patterson, Luke Brannigan, Dylan Nash and Rob Warrensey, Graham Holroyd and Ben Black. Up front, it's Makaylee Azu, the Papua New Guinea international, Bob Bezic, Neil Cherryholm, David Larder, who's the captain, David Wrench and Sam Barlow. And the bench is occupied by Sean Penkovic, Frank Watine, Dominic Manoli and Stephen Bannister. And the coach is Matt Calland. Well, Featherston are known as the flat cappers, and there are plenty of flat caps in Warrington this afternoon. There they are, they're there in force. And will they be going home with the Championship Grand Final trophy? And Halifax have brought quite a few supporters as well, of course. Halifax, once upon a time, they were in the Super League. Featherston with designs on being there in the not too distant future. They both now ticked a box. They are eligible for elevation to the big competition in the next round of licence applications. We shall see how that goes. But this is a massive day for their supporters and for their players and for their coaching staff. It's Featherston Rovers against Halifax then, the Championship Grand Final. And Barry is moving into the commentary box to sit alongside Terry O'Connor and also Bill Arthur.
How ironic that on the afternoon of the news of Terry Newton's death, Featherston Rovers look to put the seal on a season that they have dedicated to a young hooker of theirs who died at the very start of the season. Gareth Swift, killed in a car accident, and Featherston dedicated their efforts this season to Swifty's memory, and it's in his memory that they hope to clinch victory here this afternoon. But they are up against a Halifax side hoping to make amends for their defeat on this ground last season. Robert Hicks, our referee, this afternoon gets the game underway, and Halifax in their change, black strip, in possession and immediately under pressure from a fired-up Featherston Rovers side who don't intend to slip up at the final hurdle.
Well, in the qualifying semi, that man Tony Tonks, he threw himself about in the opening 20 minutes. He knows it's going to be big, it's going to be physical. And Matt Callan looked very, very confident going into this game. He knows that they've got to control possession to have any chance to winning this grand final.
Well, they've got nothing to lose is the verdict from the Halifax camp. Nobody's given us a chance was what one of the playing staff said to me. So we're just going to try and prove everybody wrong this afternoon. But Hardman making a terrible hash of that. Lost his bearings, I think, then.
Well, normally very reliable at the back, Ian Hardman comes up with that mistake. Fantastic kick by Ben Black. Sticks it into the corner under no real pressure.
It wasn't a 40-20.
No, he's made the decision, he's made a play for it. Unfortunately for Featherston, and Darryl Powell makes the mistake. They've now got to defend 20 yards out from their line, but if there's one thing that Featherston can do, it is defend the try line.
Well, Ian Hardman, one of the big game players or big game experience players in this Featherston Rovers side from his St Helens days and then Hull Kingston Rovers.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Luke Brannigan goes in the centre today. Normally standoff, playing in the left side.
The first time this season, in fact, that Luke Brannigan has played in the centres, and Halifax making that switch to accommodate Graham Holroyd. There's Holroyd, and there is Brannigan.
Well, they had to fit Graham Holroyd in. He was very influential.
Paul White, the man to miss out for Halifax. Here's Mikhaili Aizu. Still has the indentation from Liam Wellham's teeth marks in his forehead, I think. Lada, strong run from him. That's the fifth tackle. Bezic organising things. Holroyd drifts the kick across field, looking for Warranty, and instead finds Nash, and Nash is nailed by Tom Saxton.
Tom Saxton doing a fantastic job there. Understood how much pressure he was on after the mistake by Hardman in the early stages. There's Tommy Saxton, very strong with the ball, great returner of the ball.
Saxton, the Featherston Rovers Player of the Year, in possession, trying to get to his feet to play the ball. Ben Kay serves it up for Tonks, and Sam Barlow came hurtling in there to get a piece of the action.
Well, he's trying to set the marker on big Tony Tonks. There's another man, he's having a go at his teammate, Stuart Dickens.
Well, they're pumped up for this game, as Briggs very coolly puts the kick in and makes Royston move for that one.
They've got to be pumped up for this game. You can't get pumped up for the final. Like Kyle Briggs on that tackle on Shad Royston, you'll never get pumped up for the game.
Here is Patterson now, moved to the wing in this shuffle from Matt Callan. Patterson displacing Paul White. Whoa. Cherry home now on the 30-metre line.
Good shot from Stu Dickens. And Featherston saying, whatever you can do, we can do, but it's important in finals that you keep your composure. Fire in your belly, but ice in your mind, nice and cool.
Lada plays the ball. There is Bezic, recovered from the ankle injury that at one point was feared to be so serious it would keep him out for the remainder of the season. Now then, Zach Hardaker, joint young player of the year in the championships, I should say. Shared that honour with Gareth Moore. Sam Smeaton, as Eddie was saying, Featherston Rovers virtually sweeping the board at the championship awards, and Smeaton was one of the nominees for that young player title. Tim Spears now.
And they've deserved all the awards that they've got. Liam Finn, who's had a fantastic season, the man on the ball.
I think that fired Halifax up, though, the fact that they didn't really get a look in. I think they had a couple of players in the Championship All-Stars side, Royston and Warrancy, but apart from that, Halifax, despite finished second in the table, really didn't feature, and that's got to be a motivation.
Well, I'm not sure they turned up for the dinner, but they've turned up today for the final.
Finn's crossfield kick, not the best, and Patterson has time to get underneath that one and collect it.
No real pressure from the Featherston chase team. The kick chase team wasn't effective on that occasion. They'll need to be better. Liam Finn's kicking game is outstanding. Rivals Graham Holroyd, who in 1994 was playing at Wembley against Wigan Rugby League.
Holroyd, here is Mikhaili Aizu. Across the field, then looking to straighten up the PNG international. Tackled on the 30-metre line. There is Matt Calland. All booted and suited. Ben Black across the field for Wrench now. Dave Wrench, one of the players like Graham Holroyd in the Halifax side, bowing out at the end of this season. Holroyd from deep puts the kick. And Hardman this time fields that one confidently.
Graham Holroyd just wants to get the ball as far down the other end of the pitch as possible.
Saxton collects that ball, and he's quick off the mark is Tom Saxton. Gets up ahead of speed fairly rapidly, as he did there. Finn. Here is Carl Briggs now. Briggs runs it in at Luke Brannigan. The two number 6s going head-to-head there. And then off goes Ben Kay, his former Harlequins hooker. Briggs drills the kick in, looking to turn round Patterson, finds a little bit of territory in the corner and gets a round of applause from his teammates. Head and feet to Halifax, but they're going to have to work their way from deep now.
Not a bad option from Briggs. Just thinks the ball off the island, giving his forward pack chance to catch the breath. The opening 6 minutes has been ferocious. Good impact, good control. And Kyle Briggs, who runs well above his weight, tackles well above his weight, he'll have a big influence on this game also.
Here is Shad Royston, of course, destined for the Bradford Bulls next season. Royston, after playing his career in this country in the, well, outside Super League, shall we say. Disrespectful to say the lower leagues.
And backed himself, Bill. He turned up and asked for a trial from Batley.
Halifax in possession. And Barlow gets to his feet to play the ball. And Barlow's handled a lot of pressure quite admirably in the last couple of weeks. Of course, there was that furore about his performance, his appearance rather, for Halifax against Sheffield last week, when Sheffield felt they'd got a legal right to have him excluded from the game. And he not only played well, he got a try that day. Here is Graham Holroyd, as I was saying earlier on. He and Wrench due to hang up their boots. Brannigan puts the kick in. Hardman underneath that one.
That's better from Ian Hardman. Oh, that's not put the mockers on him. Had a little look up the pitch, saw Luke Brannigan coming in to tackle him. Featherston very good. The back three of Hardman, Zach Hardaker, Tommy Saxton, they returned the ball very, very well.
Smeaton, but Smeaton immediately collared by Brannigan. Well, if there was some doubt about Luke Brannigan's suitability for that centre role, he's shown up well so far.
Well, he's okay man on man. It's going to be one edge defence. How's he like defending on an edge when they shift the ball?
He's missed one there, and Saxton has got away. Saxton back on the inside for Hardaker. Hardaker keeper has lost the ball. Patterson managed to do enough, and Cherryholm tidies up. They'll come back for the knock-on, though, head and feed to Halifax, but a warning there.
Well, this is exactly what they can do. Tom Saxton, so big, so strong, looks to get Zach Hardacre away. He gets through Patterson, who was a loose carry. He just loses the ball on impact.
Is that what you were meaning about Brannigan's defence? Because he was found wanting there.
It's totally different when you've got to play, and there's lots of different options coming at you. Who do you take? Very talented player, Luke Brannigan, on that occasion was left wanting in defence.
Didn't Zach Hardacre do well there? Split-second decision to come inside. He takes the drop-off from Tommy Saxton just at precisely the right time. There's a bit of shenanigans going on. Tony Tonks, Neil Cherryholm, rubbing foreheads, not wanting to let the other one.
It's a prop forwards mating ritual, that, isn't it? The rubbing foreheads.
No, Tony Tonks is trying to get the head. Bit of push, bit of shove.
There'll be no kissing
let's see
going
where
on
they're
there.
going in 70 minutes, if they've still got the energy for that.
Robert Hicks, another of the award winners out there, the Championship's Referee of the Year, Hicks, and has had an outstanding season.
Did the Northern Rail final, ran the line at Wembley, and he's got this final here today. Fantastic year for him personally.
Here's Bezic, Cherryholm, over the 40-metre line. And still nothing on the scoreboard between these two sides in the Championship Grand Final. Featherston looking for their first silverware since the 1992-93 season, when they won the Second Division Championship and the Premiership under Steve Martin, as Tom Saxton tidies up and then looks around and thinks it might be nice if there was somebody there to help me out here, chaps.
What
and eventually the ball finds Hardacre.
What strength from Tommy Saxton there. Shad Royston does a great job, tremendous job of putting pressure on him. But Tommy Saxton refused to go down and gets this offload away. Just look at him here, keeps his feet. Dave Larder can't get hold of him. Risky play from Featherston.
That 92-93 side featured the likes of Paul Newlove, Martin Pearson and Ikram Butt. Well, this is the 2010 side featuring the likes of Kyle Briggs, Ben Kay, Ian Hardman now, looking to get some silverware on the sideboard. Back at the Big Fellas Stadium, that's the 5th tackle. Liam Finn drifts the kick across field, over the head of Wellham, into the arms of Saxton. Saxton back across, almost back to where they started. Saxton again looking for the offload. It's Tonks now, but Tonks goes to ground. That'll be the turnover.
Well, Rob Warrenson just drops a little bit too far back on Liam Finn, the intelligent kicker it is. He just dinks it over. Darryl Powell's not happy with the last play. He's not happy. Maybe Tony Tonks, the least favourite player, he wanted to get it.
Tonks getting a talking to now because he wouldn't give the ball back after that. So Stuart Dickens just been asked to rein him in. He's getting a bit carried away. Here's Cherryholm now. Dickens has got the message.
It's okay getting carried away in a final. All the hard work through the year to get it, and you've got to put in that performance.
This is a great shot, good impact. Tremendous work from Spears, finished off by Big Stu.
Holroyd gives it some width to Brannigan. Brannigan trying to get on the outside of Smeaton. Smeaton sticks to his task. A bit of help there from Hardacre, the two youngsters managing to bring down Brannigan. Holroyd, Larder, onto Cherryholm, straight up the middle of the field. Come Halifax now. Still 0-0 here at the Hallowell Jones Stadium. Ben Black. Black going across the field. Barlow back to Black. And Black back whence he came. Unable to offload it to Royston, and Royston through the middle. Royston will take on Hardman. Hardman makes the tackle. Full-back on full-back there, but Royston, quick play the ball. Bezic, Holroyd now. Holroyd out wide to Brannigan, and Brannigan, has he got it down? No try, says the referee. Robert Hicks well placed. Brannigan stretching out. Matt Calland impassive. And Luke Brannigan not really laying claim to that.
And let's credit Zach Hardacre here. Brannigan trying to get the ball over the line, but the wingman stood strong.
Hold. Go.
So the first real effort on the try line.
You're right, Tez. He denies him with his foot. Brannigan just unable to put it down. But any Bradford fan watching this game has a real player in Shad Royston.
As Hardacre is taken into touch and Brannigan doing the tackling.
Well, both teams looking to shift this ball. Zach Hardacre, there's Brannigan the man. Just denied a try a minute ago by this man, Zach Hardacre. He's not letting him get on the outside of him. Pulls him into touch. But Halifax are looking to play off the middle of the park, splitting the halfbacks, creating chances either side.
There is the 18-year-old Hardacre, 20 tries in 13 appearances so far this season. Featherston very relieved to get him tied to a new deal because his progress has been noted by Super League clubs. Patterson now.
All the way, Stuart. Yeah, you're okay now, Stuart.
Now here is Dylan Nash, and just a little question mark about the fitness of Dylan Nash going into this game. There were suggestions that maybe there's a bit of a back problem. Have to see how Nash shapes up, the former Gateshead Thunder player.
As soon as the adrenaline's pumping round your body, you won't be able to feel any of those little injuries that prevent you making the game.
Ben Black, tackled by Spears. Now Holroyd. Larder. That's the 5th tackle.
Wait.
Ben Black has his hands outstretched, ready for this ball, and then I think he was thinking of maybe taking him on his own, puts the kick in, and Tom Saxton does superbly well there, under all sorts of pressure from Dylan Nash to collect that ball.
Fantastic take by Tommy Saxton. One of the best wingers in this division. He focuses on that ball. He's not looking at where the runners are coming from for Halifax. There's only one winner in there, and that's Tom Saxton.
Well, he has got big game experience. Challenge Cup final winner in 2005 with Hull FC, Tom Saxton. So he's played in the real cauldrons. Briggs thumps the ball downfield, but it's straight into the arms of Royston, and Royston brings it back, looking to go wide, maybe around the Featherston Rovers defence.
Well, good defence by Halifax, restricting Featherston to only 17 metres with the ball. There's the unpredictable Rob Warranty, as big as a forward, fast as a winger.
24 tries this season, Warranty so far. Well, Halifax enjoying a good spell of possession and territory here as Mikhaili Aizu bounces off the challengers. But 15 minutes gone, still 0-0 here. Halifax are peeling for a high tackle on Neil Cherryhome there. Bezic. Here is Ben Black now. Black. Always looking to pull something out of the bag, Ben Black. That's the 5th tackle, though. Dickens it was who stopped his progress. Barlow claiming he was impeded there as Holroyd puts the kick in, but Briggs sweeps it up. Read that one well, Kyle Briggs.
He's a good player, Kyle Briggs. Anticipated that kick. Graham Holroyd, one of the most intelligent players in this division, just dinks it over the top. And Kyle Briggs, as brave as you like, catches it and secures possession. Watch this, left-footed kick. Kyle Briggs gives Featherston back the ball.
Ross Devorty is on for Featherston Rovers, as is John Gratian. 5th tackle on the halfway line. So 0-0 between these two, and they've got to start scoring points sooner or later, because generally these two do score points against each other. 64-44 in 2008 is one big scoreline. 76-16 in 2007 in the Northern Rail. 44-4 on Good Friday. 0-0 Featherston Halifax. There's something wrong with that scoreboard.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of scores. In fact, I think Featherston have never failed to score less than 26 points in the 3 games that they've played this year.
You have to commend Halifax on their attitude today. They're staying in the arm wrestle well, and defensively, a little bit 2 missed tackles in the opening 17 minutes. It's a little bit too long from Spears there.
Well, talk about lying on, he almost went to sleep. First penalty of the game.
Line's good.
on the 40-metre line in the Featherston Rovers half now. And you've got to say it's Halifax who've looked the bigger threat so far.
Again, looking to play straight to the middle of the park, splitting Ben Black and Graham Holroyd.
Tim, 2 feet. Go.
Maloney gets to his feet to play the ball. Penkovic is on to pull the strings, and it was Penkovic who scored the first try of the game in the playoff meeting between these two sides just over 2 weeks ago. Penkovic trying to set something up for Barlow. The ball was forward.
All three of us in unison.
But that is the danger of Sean Penkovic. He takes the ball to the line, he attracts the defenders. Fortunately for Sam Barlow, he was just a yard in front.
That's how far it was.
But that is real danger signs for Featherston. If you let Sean Penkovic run, he'll create some chances.
You need a loose. Come on, Ben. Tight heads.
Darryl Powell just sending out one or two instructions because his side have been on the back foot for the most of the opening 18 minutes here. They haven't managed to pose a real threat so far to the Halifax defence. And possession very much in favour of Halifax so far in the first quarter of the game.
But the game's all been Halifax. But look at the confidence that Featherston are getting from defending the line.
Come on, Sam.
Halifax are throwing absolutely everything at them, but they can't break them down at the minute.
Well, can Featherston find a way through the Halifax defence? Fax, it's fair to say, not renowned for their defensive strength this season. It's almost you score, we'll score with them. Liam Finn now steps away from Frank Watine and gets the ball wide to Gratian. Gratian stabs the kick through, and Royston, well, Royston all very nearly undone by that bounce and only just managing to get out of trouble.
Oh, he does a fantastic job there, lovely footwork.
And Warranty is away. Warranty, can he go outside Hartman? And Hartman just manages to tap him. But now then, Gratian comes back. Across comes Hardacre. Warranty for the line. Warranty will score the first try of the game. Another length of the field effort from Rob Warranty. He did it against Sheffield. He's done it against Featherston Rovers. And after Shan Royston only just managed to get out of trouble and is in goal area, it was Rob Warranty getting try number 25 of the season. Talk about turning defence into attack. The former Greenwich Admiral flyer really took off then.
Fantastic work from Rob Warranty. Look at the size of the man. He is an absolute athlete. There was only going to be one winner when Rob Warranty got that ball.
It looked as though Hardman might just have done enough to hold his progress, but Warranty had the balance and eventually the pace.
Well, I'm not sure whether Darryl Powell would have wanted John Gratian to kick this ball, but Shad Royston done a fantastic job to get back in the field of play. On his own try line, Rob Warranty, he gets up. The lazy defenders from Featherston didn't close down that block hole. And look at that, Ian Hardman tried everything to stop him. There's only going to be one winner. Zach Hardacre comes from the other side of the pitch, but can't prevent Rob Warranty scoring the try. Look at the excitement on Matt Callan's face.
And now Lee Patterson from right out on the touchline, 140 successes with the boot this season, the championship's top point scorer. And he's missed with that one. Furious with himself because he is a very, very accurate goal kicker, Patterson. But what about the pace of Rob Warranty? We've seen it now in back-to-back performances for this Halifax side.
Well, this is almost two 50-metre sprints. Hardman has him here, has him in his sights, stops him. Warranty starts again. And you look at Zach Hardacre here, you think it's a lost cause, you're never going to catch him, but he plants the ball down in the corner. The conversion, I can see you, but the conversion isn't complete. And Zach Harder does a great job. It means you can't see me, Bill, for us wrestling fans.
Well, like, it could be off again. Now, this guy probably hasn't got quite the pace of Rob Warranty, Dave Larder, but he's made good yards there, stopped in his tracks by Hardman, but they've got their tails up at the moment of Halifax. Spurred on by that Rob Warranty try.
I'm not so sure. If you ask Dave Larder, he'll say there's not much in it.
We've seen him score a half the length of the field try, Dave Larder. Once he gets going, he's hard to stop, as is that guy, Frank Watine. Sean Penkovic now up the middle, and Halifax trying to capitalise on this domination they've got of the game at the moment. Maloney, Black now, crossfield kick. Nash will chase it. Nash goes up for it. It goes backwards, still on the last, says referee Hicks. Warrensey, little kick through. Warrensey is chasing it, and back goes Briggs. Briggs looking to get out of trouble. He won't do that because Brannigan nails him.
Superb, absolutely superb from Halifax. Just turning that pressure. And Briggs shows bravery. He tries to get out. A lovely kick from Warrensey. Larder can't get him, and Brannigan just collects him. And Halifax are doing a superb job. Strangling.
It was a great kick from Warrensey outside of the boot. Right to the pace on it. And from the goal line drop out, here comes Frank Watine. So he's had a good start to this game as Rob Warrensey. Here is Maloney now.
This game is all about speed for Halifax. Penkovic, Black, Brannigan.
Barlow. 2 tackles gone as Barlow goes to ground. Penkovic now picks it up, goes on his own. Penkovic, little dummy from the Welsh international, almost over the line. Held up short. Wrench. Black across the face of the defence. Oh, and Frank Watine went without it. First real blot on the Halifax copybook so far this afternoon.
Well, Ben Black has been given way too much time and space. The Featherston defenders are stood watching him. And if Frank Watine has better hands, then he's one-on-one with the Featherston defender. And I fancy Big Frank's chances there. I think Robert Hicks having some technical troubles. But at some point, this momentum is going to change, and it will come back to Featherston. But Halifax, while it's in their favour, through Rob Warrensey, are just making making Featherston work really hard.
They've only got 4 points to show for it. Would that be a concern, that you've dominated virtually the first half hour of the game?
Well, it's not a concern for Rob Warrensey here. You can just see his focus looking straight at the try line. He knows exactly where he's going and who's in hot pursuit of him. Zach Hardacre trying everything, as Barry said, pushing him into the corner.
So 24 tries for the season, 25 tries for the season now for Rob Warrensey. Best ever season in terms of try scoring. 4-0 though, Halifax lead.
What Halifax are being in this game as well is very, very physical. They weren't like this in the semi-final when they played at Featherston.
But there were signs of it against Sheffield last week, Tez. Very good in that second half in particular. The line speed, the contact, the control that they had.
Dickens, striding run from the Featherston Rovers captain. Problems, I think, for Halifax, though. Let's go downstairs to Rod Studd.
Yeah, problems for their captain, Dave Larder. Bill, he's off the field with a thumb injury. They're checking it out now. They don't think it's broken, but it's certainly very painful, so he's had to leave the action earlier than they would have scheduled.
The kick into the arms of Shad Royston. Royston across the field. Tackled by Gratian.
They're under pressure, Featherston. That wasn't the best they kicked. Shad Royston didn't have to move to gather that ball.
Featherston Rovers, of course, finishing top of the table. Dominant side in the championship. Just the 2 defeats in the regular season. Toulouse and Sheffield, the only sides to put one over on Darryl Powell's side, and Halifax along the way beaten 3 times so far by this Featherston Rovers side, but they won't care about that if they can get their revenge here and make up for last year's defeat by the Barrow Raiders in this arena. They're ahead at the moment by 4 points to 0. Here is Ben Black on the last, chips the kick over the top, chases it himself, comes back off his shoulder, and is picked up by Wellham. And Wellham looking to get away now. Michaeli Aizu hounding him down. Oh no, he says, last time you took 4 of my teeth out.
Did he lose that ball? think he lost that ball, and Graham Holroyd's going mad here because he lost the ball, Welham did. And the referee, Robert Hicks, didn't see it.
Quick tap taken by Saxton. Saxton, good offload for Briggs. Royston makes the tackle. So the indiscipline from Halifax could prove costly here. Dane Manning now. Manning is held. He was looking actually to carry on then. Kay. Briggs moves in. Not a good ball. Hardman it is who picks that up, and Hardman comes back to where it all started. Still going in, Hardman. And very little, he slipped away from the first tackle from Maloney. It was Patterson who eventually brought him down after that long crossfield run. And they are back where they started now, and this time the pass is a good one to Finn. It's good defence so far from Halifax, but Gratian back inside. And the ball has been stolen there, has it? The referee looks to see, yes, it was stolen. It was Dylan Nash, and that'll be a penalty to Featherston Rovers.
Some first-class handling skills from Halifax then, from Featherston, should I say. Dylan Nash strips that ball. There's 3 20-metre passes from Halifax then. From Featherston, sorry.
Matty Dale so close there, and it was Nash who reached out to rip the ball from his grasp. Here comes Stuart Dickens now, and Dickens, what an offload from him. Finn, and here is Briggs. Briggs to level things. And there's a little bit of a flare up there, and Halifax tempers just getting a little bit overheated. Frustration from Halifax there, but there didn't appear to be any problem with that try as Briggs pumped the ball down. And the Halifax defence just wasn't able to stand up to the task facing them there, and Robert Hicks, before he awards this try, just wants a word with Kyle Briggs. Whether he was a bit over-exuberant in his celebrations, I'm not sure. The try is awarded after all that. And it is Kyle Briggs who's the try scorer. His 20th try of the season.
Well, here's the first one. The mistake from Welham. Graham Holroyd saying to the referee that there's a mistake. Nope, gets penalised for it. Then they go into the corner, bottom corner. They've got to defend. They've invited Featherston down here. Dylan Nash strips the ball. Another penalty that they've got to defend, and Kyle Briggs is one of the standout players in this division. Stu Dickens gets the ball free to Liam Finn. Just sucks the defenders in. Great vision. Not sure about the celebration, but the big man, just look at him. 4 men in attendance, offloads the ball to Liam Finn. And that's a good try by Kyle Briggs.
Well, he and Graham Holroyd not seeing eye to eye there. There's a little slap on the head from Holroyd that preceded that, I think, that Briggs fired up. And no respect for his seniors there. Kyle Briggs, 22, Graham Holroyd, 34. He'll be 35 next month. But it's the youngster who scored the try and converted it to put Featherston Rovers 6-4 ahead.
Some lovely footwork there from Kyle Briggs, but again, they've absorbed all the pressure. The opening 20 minutes has been about pressure, and that's the reason you see such frustration from both sets of players. Both of them understand that there's nothing in this game.
Here's Ross Devorty then. Well, Halifax coming up to half an hour mark, having dominated. We saw the possession stat. Dominating possession. That 4 points to 0 never looked enough, did it?
No, it didn't. Not the way that Featherston can defend in these games. As I say, there'll be a lot of points scored in this game, in the second half especially. Both teams are just feeling each other out. There's a lot of big hits out there. There's a lot of verbals, a lot of finger pointing.
Like a ballet dancer, Tom Saxton pirouetting away from trouble. And now he's looking to get Hardacre away again. And Hardacre's got the legs. Back-to-back tries from Featherston Rovers. And Zach Hardacre makes it 21 tries in 14 games in a remarkable rise. And the flat cappers say hats off to our boys, because they've turned this game around in the blink of an eye. tries in a couple of minutes from Featherston Rovers. And Zach Hardacre owes a big debt to Tom Saxton for that try. But what a finish it was, what pace this 18-year-old has.
Well, you talk about aggressive go forward from your forwards, but what about this from Tom Saxton, the winger? He spins out a collision with some of the biggest men that Halifax have got in the middle of the park. His focus is on where is Zach Hardacre, where's he backing me up? That's not normally an attempt that Shad Royston would put in to try and prevent the try score to Zach Hardacre, but this is good play by Tom Saxton. He changes direction, he's got the ability to beat Don Maloney and Michael Iezu. He gets round Luke Brannigan, holds the ball in two hands, pulls in the Halifax defenders, and Zach Hardacre, speed to burn from the youngster.
Now then, Kyle Briggs, a try already in the game against Halifax that took Featherston through to this grand final. He got 26 points. Well, he's got another goal, 8 so far for Kyle Briggs, 12 for Featherston Rovers, 4 for Halifax. And Zach Hardacre, who announced his presence in this Featherston Rovers side with a Northern Rail hat-trick against Hunslet and hasn't looked back since then. What a talent this young man is.
Well, Zach Hardacre scores the try, salutes the crowd, but I'm sure he will salute Tom Saxton. I'm going to call that last pass an offload. That is his 5th offload of the match.
And Halifax must be a bit dumbstruck by that, by the way that a 4-0 lead has turned into a 12-4 deficit now.
Well, now, Bill, we will see the strength of character of what Halifax have got. They were 4 points up, all the possession, all the territory in this game. A bit high from Don Maloney there. Matt Callan now maybe thinking, what's happened? What has happened? We've threw absolutely everything at Featherston. They've defended the line, they've come away with 2 quick tries. That is what Featherston can do to you.
Well, it's a good side that can absorb pressure, and that's what they did.
Good ball from Saxton back in field to Wellham. Wellham to Hardman. Hardman is tackled, and Featherston Rovers really have their tails up now. Hardman is hurt.
Took one for the cause then, Ian Hardman. He was clattered, he wasn't expecting a Halifax defender to be there. He was trekking up the middle of the park like all good fullbacks do.
So Hardman is down. Unfortunately, the game will be disrupted because there is a problem at the other end of the field.
What's going on?
Well, I'm afraid this is not what rugby league's about.
Stewards eventually on the field, but belatedly on the field.
Okay. There's a fire in the stand.
Is there a fire on? Is there a problem?
Sam, there's a fire in the stand.
So there is, in actual fact, this is not, let's just be clear about this, this is not crowd trouble. This stand at the PA is saying is being evacuated for safety reasons. I think the Featherston Rovers supporters getting the wrong message here. But those Halifax supporters have been asked to leave that stand by the stewards.
He just told us to go up. Yeah.
So there is a deal of disarray here at the moment.
Let's get in the changing rooms, guys. Let's get in the changing room. Just get in
And the players, in fact, are being escorted from the field while they sort this out.
Let's get into the changing rooms. There's a fire in the stand.
And we have a delicate situation here at the moment. We've got an entire contingent of Halifax supporters on the field for their own safety at the moment. And some of them looking to just taunt their opposite numbers at the moment as the players and referee Robert Hicks leave the field while this is sorted out. Stewards and police on the scene, just marshalling those supporters. And as you can see, the smoke billowing at that end of the ground. So there is, we're told there is a fire in the stand, or there is smoke coming somewhere from that stand at the far end of the ground, which has now been evacuated. With just over half an hour gone, and Featherston Rovers leading by 12 points to 4, but the players back in the dressing room, and we can go back to the studio and rejoin Eddie.
Well, this isn't what we wanted to see, but obviously there is a major safety alert at that end of the ground, and the Halifax supporters have all been pushed onto the field by the stewards. The most important thing now is that the Halifax supporters just keep away from this side where all the Featherston Rovers fans are, and we don't have any nonsense going on the field. But there is obviously a major security, a safety concern at that end of the stand. You can see now the smoke is actually billowing onto the ground behind us here. So we'll take a break while we try and get some semblance of order. As you can see, the supporters are on the field, the players are inside the dressing room, and the stewards and no doubt the fire brigade are on the way to try and sort this out. Featherston against Halifax then. The game is delayed because of safety concerns behind one of the sticks. It looks like a fire has broken out in or around the terracing away to our right-hand side. We'll be back after this short break.
After a delay which has seen the Halifax fans move from one end of the ground to the other, and now they are watching Featherston coming towards them. That's a bit bizarre for them. They were going away from them, coming towards them a moment ago. Now they're coming back towards them.
Well, which team now can get into top gear straight away? Featherston scored 2 quick back-to-back tries, all the pressure that Halifax had. Well, Andy Kane's offside. He's trying to take some yards off the big man, Michaeli Erzu. So the penalties for Sean Penkovic, not waiting around. You can see Andy Kane getting up, not letting the big man ramp up on him.
Here is Holroyd. Dom Maloney now for Halifax, looking to get points on the board, get some momentum going their way, having lost it spectacularly in that rapid-fire sequence of tries from Featherston Rovers. Of course, bizarrely, we're going to have this short passage of play, and then they'll all go in for half-time. Here comes Maloney, though. Maloney straight up the middle.
That was a good ball by Penkovic to Maloney.
And here goes Penkovic again. Penkovic looking for a try himself. 4 short, says referee Hicks, and Penkovic is just that. Black now. Barlow will take him on himself, and Barlow, has he got the strength, has he got the reach? Not quite. Hammering away at this Featherston Rovers line now, and on the last tackle, the grubber kick comes in, and it's snapped up. And Matt Calland not impressed by that.
A nothing kick from Halifax in the end, but Big Sam Barlow had 2 or 3 players outside on Halifax's right. There's the kick. It hits 2 Featherston players. Nobody knows where it is.
And there was Barlow, and Wrench. Barlow the culprit, though. He's got a short fuse as Sam Barlow, as we saw in the game at Widnes.
Well, this is a strong challenge. Just have a look. Yeah, just needs to take it down an eyebrow or 2. Devotee nearly being decapitated.
Well, strong. I can think of a word that begins with ST, but
He can be a menace. He has the ability to upset the opposition, Big Sam Barlow.
Barlow is on report for that tackle. As I said, he was sent off against Widnes and banned for 3 games. He's got to watch his step.
He's a full-on player, Sam Barlow, whether he's got the ball or whether he hasn't.
And apparently he's the classic gentle giant. He is such a mild-mannered person.
Off the pitch, he is a gentleman.
So Devotee plays the ball. Here is Briggs, one of the try scorers. Manning now for this Featherston Rovers side. Michaeli Aizu with the tackle. 4 tackles gone as Kane it is who plays the ball. Liam Finn now. Finn looking for Hardman. Penkovic got a hand to it. Back to 1, says the referee. Kane going across the field. Tackled on the 30-metre line.
Liam Finn got away with that then, just chose the inside pass. It was touched by a Halifax player. More pressure.
10 metres, hold. Go.
Sam Barlow swinging again. Here is Finn once more. Finn this time does find Hardman. Hardman over the top for Briggs. Briggs has got Hardacre outside him. Hardacre goes to ground.
Move! 2 feet, Luke.
Looking for a quick play the ball. Holroyd it was with the tackle. Briggs finds Kane now. Kane, another Halifax hand in there. And the referee says it was a knock-on, in fact.
Well, I think that was Sambarlo's effort in defence. He's the man who's come up and put pressure on Andy Kane.
Let's get back into
See
it,
number
guys.
27. Yep. Good impact by Sambarlo.
Did he just knock the ball out of here? Let's have a look. He did.
No, he's knocked his arms.
He's knocked the ball out there, Tez.
Darryl Powell not impressed by that decision. So into the last 5 minutes of a first half that's lasted about 2 hours so far. Well, an hour and a half virtually.
Has that ball been stripped?
It has.
Well, you talk about keeping your composure. And Liam Wellham there just strips this ball from Wrench. That's a poor penalty to give away. When you've got the opposition under pressure.
If you are just joining us and you're wondering how a game that kicked off at 5:30 has only had 36 minutes played, then we've had a slight hiccup with a stand evacuated because of a minor fire, and fans having to be moved from one end of the ground to the other. All done with almost military precision by the stewards and police here, and hats off to them.
Hold, Stuart.
But it has led to a major delay here. Halifax with Holroyd, finds Black. Black, lovely little short ball for Royston. Royston motoring onto that pass.
Fantastic width and play from Halifax.
Yeah, you're okay.
Oh, Michaeli Azu, well, he was miles away. Penkovic did well to retrieve that.
Move, Stuart.
Well, there he goes. I don't want any of that.
What's that? Holroyd, little chip kick over the top. Nobody on the same wavelength. Carl Briggs is.
Yeah, Shad Royston was just thinking at the ball was going to go net towards the sticks. That's where he was looking.
Graham Holroyd put a wonderful pass in 20 metres left to right to free Shad Royston up. And there's his kicking prowess. He's an excellent player, Graham Holroyd. 35 years old. Mentioned it before, playing at Wembley for Leeds in 1994 with a mop of black permed hair.
Kane picks up that ball and scoots away, ducks under the challenge, but it was Wrench who got a hold of him. On the last now, Finn with a little kick into space between Royston and Warrensey. Good chase by Wellham.
They've got to put pressure on Shad Royston. Again, the danger man going in behind, dummy half. Rob Warrensey.
Warrensey away from the first tackler, who was Devorty. Looking for a penalty. Ben Black now scoots away. Brannigan did well to take the pass because he got the tackler at the same time.
Good read from Dane Manning. He needed to be good then, and he was.
Maloney thunders over the halfway line for Halifax. They trail by 12 points to 4 into the last, coming up to the last minute of this first half, as Ben Black goes across the field and finds Dylan Nash now. Nash always looking for the dangerous offload. Warrensey was hoping to be the recipient of that, couldn't get the ball away. Here is Holroyd now on the last. This time he goes to air to put a bit of pressure on young Hardacre, but Hardacre is equal to the challenge and now will look to get away. But it's a good tackle in the end by Stephen Bannister on the follow-up.
Well, we talk about him being a real danger man when he's got the ball in hand. But this is a confident take from the youngster. Look at the pressure that Patterson put on him.
Finn, Manning, gets it away to Saxton. Saxton goes outside to Dylan Nash. Nash comes back to make the tackle well.
That's fantastic work. That's gone from one side to the other.
Here is John Gratian now. Gratian, short ball, finds Matty Dale.
Move, come on, work.
Finn now. Finn wondering exactly what he's going to come up with. It's the crossfield kick into the arms of Hardacre, but Hardacre ends up in the arms of Holroyd. As the hooter sounds for the end of the first half. And Graham Holroyd, in what will be his final appearance, isn't going to be left wondering what might have been. Matt Callan comes down, back to the dressing room where they only left a few moments ago. After that long pause in the game. But they'll go back there now for half-time. which sees Featherston Rovers in the lead by 12 points to 4.
Yes, they're leaving the field for half-time, exactly about an hour and a half since they first came onto the pitch. The game kicked off, to be absolutely precise, at 5:30 and 5 seconds. And then we had the big delay, and we've had 6 or 7 minutes now, and the players are going back to the dressing rooms again. Bizarre, yes, but they are the rules. Featherston are ahead, 12-4. Halifax, they'll start again in a couple of minutes. Well, we're very much in grand final mode, aren't we, on Sky Sports? And the preview of the big one comes up on Friday night at 7, Sky Sports HD2. It's repeated at 9 on 1. The preview of the grand final, St Swiggan. The match itself, St Helens against Swiggan for the championship, the Super League Championship, via the grand final, 5:30 on HD2 on Saturday night. It should be an absolutely breathtaking occasion. And this has been an occasion, and it has been a strange occasion, because we've had a half that's lasted an hour and a half. First of all, they kicked off at 5:30, then there was a fire in the stand behind one of the sticks, and they came out with 7 minutes to play in the first half, and now they're off the field again with Featherston ahead 12 points to 4. Well, these are familiar scenes, aren't they, for the players? They spent about 40 minutes in them around about 20 minutes ago. They had to come out and re-warm up for the conclusion of the first half. We've just seen that. Halifax actually began the match on the front foot, and they were on the front foot for the last 7 minutes of the first half as well. Let's take a look at the important moments of the first half on the field. Brian, Halifax did well at the start of both halves.
Well, we got an indication early on how much Halifax wanted this. Luke Brannigan going very, very close, that being declared a no try, and then this wonderful effort from Rob Warrency. Length of the field, and as I point out here, Hardman's tried his very best. He's almost stopped him dead. Warrency's taken off again and managed to outstrip any defenders trying to get across to him and score in the corner. Unfortunately, they missed the goal chance on that opportunity, but that sort of sparked Featherston up into action. Graham Holroyd gave away a penalty, and then another penalty conceded for a stripping offence right in front of the eyes of the referee. And from that very next play, Stuart Dickens with a classic offload around the corner, attracting 3 defenders, and then Finn and Briggs combining. Briggs plonking it down, and they managed to get another 2. And then, as I say, Tom Saxton, he's a player who's had 2 breaks in the game, 6 offloads. This is a wonderful break. Now he's faced with a full-back, and he knows he's got a winger covering his winger. Involves both of them and allows Hardacre to come back on the inside, and he had just had too much pace for them. He finishes under the sticks and allowed them to get another 2 points in that game. And then, of course, we had that break, Eddie. After that break, we had a repeat of the first half. Halifax started. Featherston on the very first play threw a poor ball back to try and put a kick up on the last. And Halifax has got all the pressure at the when we come back after that short break for the fire incident here at the stadium. So now the question we'll ask again is, how will they start? How will Halifax start this second half, and can they kick on and not fade away like they did in the first half?
Will the authorities turn this into a bare minimum half-time? Because, I mean, they've had enough disruption, the players. They've been in and out, you know.
I would hope so, but, you know, we have people that are, you know, we have, I guess, dancing girls, and we have entertainment and scheduled events, I guess, for half-time. So if they can, I'm sure they will try everything they can do to shorten it. But Halifax finished that first half after the break, finished that on a high, and they had Featherston reeling and going backwards with Penkovitz and Holroyd to the fore.
Well, Halifax started the game well. They started the restart well. Will they start the second half well? We shall see. Featherston, though, are ahead 12-4 at the break, and hopefully an uninterrupted 40 minutes on its way. Just a reminder that we have the NRL Grand Final coming to you live from Australia, and it's the Battle of Sydney. St George Illawarra Dragons against the Sydney Roosters. on Sunday morning at 7, Sky Sports HD3. That's the morning after the night before as far as the Super League Grand Final is concerned. Here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium, Featherston Rovers 12, Halifax 4 at half-time. If you're just joining us, a reminder that the West Stand was evacuated following a fire, and all the supporters have been moved now to the other end of the ground. Order has been restored. We had a half that lasted 32 minutes, then a part of the half that lasted 7, and now we hope for an uninterrupted 40. Back to the commentators, Barry, Terry and Bill.
Second half just about to get underway then. Robert Hicks gets us going. Featherston leading 12-4. Halifax kicking the game off and attacking that end of the ground, now occupied by their supporters who've been moved from one end of the ground to the other. So those supporters hoping that they can encourage their side to come back into this game. They led 4-0 early on, but they were hit by back-to-back tries by this Featherston Rovers side. Now they've got to respond.
A big 40 minutes from both sides. And you talk about players being physically tired in games, but mentally tired as well. That break will not have helped them out. But who can keep the focus on trying to get the end result?
Andy Kane with a good darting run, but that's the 5th tackle, and it's restricted Featherston Rovers to progress. But the kick from Liam Finn, looking for a 40-20, but it bounces and sits up nicely for Rob Warren-Seabold. Rod Studd's had a busy night. He's got some half-time news now.
Well, Bill, Daryl Powell, the Featherston coach, came out, about 5 minutes before the end of half-time. I said, have you done all your half-time team talk during the main hiatus? He said, yeah, most of it. There wasn't much left to say at half-time, but the theme from both sets of coaches, it's been difficult, but difficult for both teams, they both admit. Daryl Powell not really happy with the amount of field position and territory his team have had, so it has been difficult for them. He reckons if they can get close to the Halifax line, they'll put points on. As far as Halifax are concerned, well, the reverse is true. They've put plenty of pressure on Featherston, and they reckon if they can be more clinical, they can get back into this game, and what has been a difficult game for both sides, Bill.
Warren-Seabold, a little chip and chase. It came up for him with a lucky ricochet. But it's with Halifax on the last tackle now as Holroyd hoists the ball. Finn this time is underneath it. It's come up for Tom Saxton. Who else, really? And Saxton, the ball in one hand, has Wellham in support, but slips and is eventually stopped.
Well, Tommy Saxton's having a fantastic afternoon and evening here. Just picks up the scraps there and gains 20 metres for his side. He's been impeccable under that high ball.
Still only 26, Tom Saxton. He's been around in the game for a while. The Castleford Tigers, Hull FC, now Featherston Rovers.
Still got a lot to offer the game, Tommy Saxton. Got great strength, good pace, and we've seen his offloading skills. 6 offloads already.
Well, Featherston now come rolling forward. That's the 5th tackle as Penkovic halts the progress of Manning, and then Finn chips a kick into a little bit of space between Warren-Seabold, and Warren-Seabold is going to have to run this one back, and we'll just get out of trouble. They couldn't quite pin him down. Wellham it was with the chase.
That was a marvellous kick, absolutely pinpoint perfect from Liam Finn. The chase was good, the intensity is good from Featherston. Rob Warren-Seabold was able to get out of his own end zone, but look at this. Beautiful kick. Warren-Seabold wants to let it go, he's willing it over the line. But lovely footwork, just gets him out of trouble.
4 tackles gone in this set, and Halifax struggling to get some forward momentum, so they go wide. But that's the 5th tackle. They're still inside their own 30. And the kick is not a good one. There is a Halifax player down in back play as Featherston bring the ball back. Graham Holroyd it is, who's got a bang in the side by the look of things.
And that will be a massive blow if Graham Holroyd has to leave the park. Matt Callan said before the game that I need you to control the ball, and in the first half they had 81% possession. They get into the kick, and that man Graham Holroyd's kicking game in the first half was impeccable.
Finn has gone wide to Wellham. Wellham has Saxton outside him. The pass just asked Saxton to stop and take it over his shoulder. Holroyd is back on his feet. Saxton still trying desperately to get that ball away.
Come on, McKaylee.
This is Graham Holroyd's last game. It will be a really bad injury if he has to leave the pitch, but a wonderful pass from Liam Finn in that previous play.
Kane to Finn. Briggs now, Briggs shows and goes, oh, and he's stopped just on the try line. Great tackle it was by Royston initially. Michaeli Aizu in to help. Finn now, Finn crossfield kick. Oh, Matty Dale cannot believe his luck. I'm not sure that was how that was intended to end up, but it ended up in the hands of Matty Dale, and he gets his 8th try of the season, courtesy of that kick from Liam Finn. And the Halifax players pretty dumbstruck by that. They thought they'd got that covered. I think that took a ricochet and it deflected kindly for Matty Dale. And Featherston Rovers able to extend their lead.
Well, Liam Finn, who's the player of the year in the championship, has 3 involvements in that set of 6. This is the kick that led to the try, but he did a great pass from right to left. He then put a short pass to Briggs, and this deflected kick just falls in the hands of Matty Dale, who gets Featherston edging out in front in this very close encounter.
I think it was Sean Penkovic who just stretched out to try and deflect that ball, and he did deflect it. Now then, Kyle Briggs just to the left of the post as he looks at it. Adds 2 more points. The ball into that now empty terracing behind those posts, and Featherston ahead by 18 points to 4 now.
Well, the deflection from Sean Penkovic, but you've got to say, look at that. There was 3 plays that Liam Finn could pick out then, whether he wanted to run the ball or whether he wanted to pass the ball. Matty Dale was taking his chances and going in for the try.
A young player who's been a bit of a nomad in his career, Matty Dale, until he's come to Featherston. That ball has gone forward. I think it was Dylan Nash who went up for it, and Sam Barlow was hoping to capitalise. Royston was in there.
Well, that was unlucky. Shad Royston jumping higher than anybody else. You can see the short kick-off, the intent of knocking the ball back to Sam Barlow. Unfortunately, the ball goes forward.
Hang on, wait for them, Liam.
So it's now Featherston's head and feed.
Go on, Dylan.
Shad Royston, a player who'll never give up. 100% committed.
No, I didn't go in.
Referee wants that scrum feed again. Bit untidy.
Just let him get settled and then put it in. Ball in. Out!
So Halifax now with work to do to get back into this game. They need to get their hands on the ball, because Featherston have monopolised possession virtually since half-time. Here is Liam Wellham now. That incident with Michaeli Aizu costing him 4 teeth when they met in the qualifying game. Has had dental surgery, Wellham.
I was going to say, he doesn't have to pay for the gum shield then.
Let's see what happens.
Here is Liam Finn now. Finn. Featherston threatening to cut loose. Hardacre gets the ball, trying to keep the ball alive. It's in the hands of Halifax now. The youngster running out of space there.
A lovely play, nice hands. Zach Eder feels like he's going off the island. Tries to put the ball behind. Just lost his bearings there a little bit. Daryl Powell isn't pleased with that passage of play. 18 points to 4 to the good. This game's still in the balance. Halifax can score tries in the blink of an eye.
Well, don't worry about that.
Here is Barlow now, and the Featherston Rovers fans enjoying the domination they have of this game at the moment, looking for a 4th win this year against Halifax. Can Halifax find something to get back into this game? They need their big game players to come up with something now. But they're up against, and we've seen the evidence of this season, a really disciplined Featherston Rovers side, especially in defence.
They are like the Wigan of the Championship. They don't worry at all. You can throw whatever you want at them and they'll back themselves in defence. Very workmanlike, and they do work for each other.
And look at him working now. Pounding down Bannister. And that's the 5th tackle. Halifax really struggling to make progress upfield, so Holroyd leathers that one down, and it's with Saxton now, and Saxton a threat. Barlow again swinging. Maloney face to face with Saxton. He really does take some stopping.
Absolutely unbelievable, Tom Saxton.
Sean, 10 metres.
You can see why Featherston have been so good, because the wingers return the ball, they get the team on the front foot. Is that a high tackle? Andy Kane looking to the referee, saying it was a high shot.
It's amazing in the modern day rugby league now how important your back three players are. You need your wingers to have good punch. You need them to be big and strong, because they start that momentum for your team. Tommy Saxton's had a great day.
Gratian, good offload from Gratian to Matty Dale. Dale away from the first challenge of Royston, but is then stopped. But quick play the ball from Matty Dale. Here goes Andy Kane now. Kane has support from Hardman. Hardman was looking to get that one away. That's the fifth tackle right in front of those posts. Kane now. Kane fancies it himself, and Andy Kane gets the pass away. Halifax ball watching. Eventually they managed to get their hands on it.
Andy Kane looking to try and exploit a gap. The gap was just close, trying to offload the ball to one of his teammates. And it was Shad Royston who gathers the ball.
Featherston got up really quick defensively, and the door just opened for Kane, but he didn't quite know how to capitalise on that.
Here is Ben Black. Now then, Warrency. Score of a wonder try in that first half, but nowhere for him to go there. Wrench. Here is Michaeli Aizu, and the big PNG forward is away. Hardman with the tackle. This is where Halifax are dangerous. Can they get this ball out wide? But great defence from Featherston Rovers. Patterson bundled into touch. And young Hardacre in there, leading the challenge for Featherston Rovers. Daryl Powell, coolness personified.
Well, Zach Hardacre showing his worth as a defensive winger. Look at this, the big fella breaks in the middle. Offload, offload. They look to the fastest man on the pitch. They want the ball in his hands. Zach Hardacre has him in his sights and drives him off the island. Outstanding work.
Well, he shared the Young Player of the Year award at the championship dinner with Batley's Gareth Moore. But he has been the outstanding young player on the field here, and that is a high tackle, and Halifax maybe just getting frustrated here now.
Now this is the negative with Sam Barlow. He does put his body on the line, he likes to play the game full on, but he's got to keep his composure. Can't go giving silly penalties away like that.
Just playing into Featherston Rovers' hands. Here's Gratian now. Just inside their own half. He's lost that ball and gets another penalty. There was a boot in there. Somebody was just kicking out as he was playing the ball.
Well, a bit of frustration. I've seen these go the other way. Dave Wrench, it just hits his foot. There was no knock on.
So interference is the decision. Matty Dale. Here is Stuart Dickens now. Dickens. Dickens plays the ball right in front of those posts. Finn, long pass. Warrency was looking for the interception. If he'd got a hold of that, it would have been another sayonara. See ya from Rob Warrency. It wasn't. He couldn't get it. Two hands on it.
I'm not sure whether that's the ball to throw. Trying to throw it over three defenders. Not when Rob Warrency's on the touchline there. If he would have caught that ball, brought it in, I'm sure that would have been a try for Halifax. Would have got them back into this game.
So in the end, it's head and feed to Featherston Rovers, which is a good result for them, because it could have been very expensive. As it is, it looks as though it's going to be expensive for Halifax. It is. Hardacre is in for his second try of the evening, or is he? The referee is not certain. He's asked video ref Stuart Cummins to check the grounding there. Touch judge not convinced either.
Well, I think they're just going to have a little look. Zach Hardacre does everything correct. I don't think there's a problem with this try.
No problem at all. Dylan Nash desperately trying to force him towards the sidelines, but the ball was down. And Zach Hardacre, 22nd try of the season, his debut season. What a phenomenal return from this 18-year-old. 22 tries in 14 appearances now. And now it really does look as though Featherston Rovers are going to crown an impressive season with grand final glory here.
Well, Liam Finn throwing a speculator out wide, trying to play outside of this Halifax team. Rob Odyssey gets his hand to it, just knocks the ball forward then from the scrum. They play with weight, they play with vision, they straighten the players up. Luke Brannigan comes in, gets Graham Holroyd caught flat-footed, and there's nothing they can do about the youngster scoring this try. Look at the number 6, faces in, shoulders the wrong way, can't do anything. Graham Holroyd cannot do a thing, and the young, immense talent of Zach Hardacre goes in for the try.
Here's another young talent, Kyle Briggs, another one of the nominees from Featherston Rovers for the Championship Player of the Year. He's missed with that, his first miss of the afternoon stroke evening. But Featherston Rovers ahead now by 22 points to 4. Hardacre, try scorer, but another one of these great young Featherston players. Sam Smeaton involved with that as well. Darryl Powell, a hard man to impress by the look of things.
I know that inside Darryl Powell will be anxious because he knows the threat that this Halifax team pose. They've just made a couple of substitutions, brought some big fellas on. Although Zach Hardacre gets the ball down, again it's another passage of play from Tommy Saxton.
They went for the short kick-off, it didn't come up. Guess who was underneath it? Hardacre. What was he doing there?
Doing his job. There's 6'4", 6'5" of him. He's had an outstanding game, as has this fella.
Well, what have Halifax got now? What can they come up with? Featherston looking irresistible in this second half. They've just been rolling forward, and Kane comes rolling forward now. He's on for a hat-trick with the ball back inside, and Smeaton got it down. He was in touch.
Forward pass. Yes, come down.
It was on course for being a cracking try, that was, but a forward pass somewhere in the build-up.
Well, Zach Hardacre ends up with this ball. Fantastic play from Kane. He ends up with this ball, he knows he can't get there, tries to get the offload away, and he's not Dan Marino, so that's no touchdown.
So that is a let-off. I thought Hardacre was going to get his hat-trick. There is still time, and he is probably the greatest threat out there at the moment, but this guy is a threat. Warrensey, if they can get him into the game at the other end of the field, he's not such a threat when he's weaving around in his own 20-metre line.
He's looking to try and create a hole, or looking for someone to come out of the line to exploit the gap. Rob Warrensey.
That's a great read from Andy Kane. That ball went from one side of the pitch to the other, and the Featherston defensive line. We mentioned Darryl Powell a lot. We say what a good job he does coaching, but Ryan Sheridan, the ex-Leeds halfback, he's the defensive coach. He's done a fantastic job with this group all year.
Ben Black is away. Black has got support from Royston. Royston up the middle, and Royston will look to get Halifax back into the game. Oh, what a tackle! He just didn't have the reach. He didn't have the reach, but Black has. Royston denied, but Ben Black was there quickly at the play of the ball, much quicker than the Featherston Rovers defenders could get there. And Matt Callan's men get the try. It's bang under the posts. It's given Halifax some hope, but it was the Black-Royston combination that opened up the Featherston Rovers defence, and that maybe is the route back for this Halifax side. That's what their fans are hoping, certainly. Ben Black, 13th try of the season for the former Burleigh Bears and West Tigers player who occasionally works as a waiter in a local superstore.
Well, riddled throughout this Halifax side, he's blistering pace. And just watch this. Watch this player shift through the gears, Ben Black. Chad Royston, you think to yourself, he's under the Black Dogs. And Zach Hardacre denies him that try. A fantastic decision to keep hold. And Ben Black, the intelligent player that he is, he tells too many lies with the ball, and they've took the kick, and they fancy a comeback. Halifax.
Well, Lee Patterson doesn't miss these. He is, of course, the top point scorer in the championship. 22-10, hope for Halifax. They need a couple more of those to trouble Featherston. Well, one more would start to trouble Featherston. So the threat is still there.
Well, if there's any team in the championship that can score a couple of quick tries, it's got to be Halifax. So many dangerous people with the ball. Bob Bezic now back on the park, trying to weave his magic in the middle of the pitch.
Matty, you've got to give him space.
Neil Cherryholm plays the ball, former student international. Intricate handling there from Penkovic Black, and then Royston to ground just inside his own half. Bezic it was. Here is Frank Watine now.
Tony Tonks, the number 17 from Featherston. He's come up with about 3 or 4 jolting tackles.
Holroyd hoists that one. It's a deep one. Oh, and Hardman's made a mess of it. And Black is onto the ball, and they are in for another one. It's Brannigan under the posts. It's another 6-pointer, surely, for Halifax. The Fax fans now at that end of the ground cannot believe what they're seeing. Matt Calland animated on the sidelines, and Luke Brannigan brought back into the side for this one. Gets his 15th try of the season. And it was the kick from Holroyd that undid Featherston at the back. They couldn't deal with it.
It was a towering kick from Graham Holroyd. Luke Brannigan getting him back into this game.
Could be moving on at the end of this season, Luke Brannigan. Rumours of him being on the way.
Look at the height on this. Graham Holroyd kicks the ball, stands back, admires it, bent back, putting pressure on Ian Hartman. And Luke Brannigan just trailing up on the left side. The ball was weaving everywhere. He couldn't focus on where that pass was. Now the game's on. 6 points in this ball game. This is going to be a blistering finish. The ball goes away from Hartman, but good play by Brannigan.
It did move in the air, didn't it?
Do you know, I'm just going to throw something at you there. What if this game is 40 minutes previous?
Just to say that Patterson succeeded with the conversion there, 22-16.
Would the night and the blackness of the night made any difference to the sight of Ian Hardman?
We will never know.
It was a fantastic kick.
It was a wicked kick, wasn't it? And it drifted away from him just at the last.
Oh, Tony Tonks on Watine.
There is Ian Hardman. Massively experienced player, but couldn't deal with that kick. So Halifax tails up. Have come roaring back into this game with this guy, Ben Black, at the helm for them. Now here's Dylan Nash. And those Featherston Rovers fans who were very jaunty just a short time ago, taunting their opposite numbers, have just become a little bit more subdued, not surprisingly. This isn't turning out to be quite the procession it seemed to be.
And just look at Graham Holroyd now, running around like a spring chicken. Another high kick.
This time Hardman is underneath it. Brannigan hounding him down, but gets away from the first challenge.
And that's what you've got to do. If you make a mistake, you've got to put your hand up and just focus on catching that ball.
How mentally strong do you have to be in that position? At the same time, within 60 seconds, knowing that you've made a mistake the previous time.
Well, here is Hardman. This time going forwards for his side. 3 tackles gone, 22-16. We've had just about everything so far this evening, or this afternoon in this championship grand finals today. We haven't had golden point extra time yet. The way things are going, that's quite a possibility. Here is Saxton, back on his feet, had treatment a short time ago, 5th tackle. Nobody seems to be lining up for that. No, they're going to go kicking out wide. Hardacre goes up for it, it finds touch.
But this game is tighter than a submarine door. I'm not sure whether we're going to see the first final go to golden point here. A nice kick, just a little bit too far for Zach Hardacre, who misjudges his jump.
You feel if he would have stood on the touchline then, going to call that ball and score the try.
Cherryholm's a mess. He's going to have treatment. Surely got to leave the field. Another delay. Clock stopped.
Doesn't look the best, does it?
That's a nasty gash.
Can you just take him
Cherry
behind?
Home, who
No, we'll get on with that.
had a spell at Swinton this season,
You need another man in.
as did Graham
You need another
Holroyd.
man in. All right, okay. Let's get him.
Patched up,
Tight heads.
once a Bradford Bulls Academy Player of the Year.
No, you don't need another man. No, we're going with active. Time back
Referee tells Graham Holroyd to get on with it while Cherry Home is getting patched up. He's still on the field.
One. Move.
And now Halifax with Featherston playing the ball. They're going to come from deep into the final quarter of a game that kicked off at 5:30.
Go.
Cherry Home getting patched up as Frank Watine is hounded down. Tonks in there.
Wait.
Tim Spears as well.
Hold.
And Tonks
Go.
could have been penalised there. Made a good job of impressing the referee that he was trying to get away from the play of the ball.
I know what he was doing, that's why I didn't penalise him. Wait. Go.
Black now. Here is Holroyd. Bannister.
Last.
That's the 5th tackle. What will Holroyd come up with now?
I bet it'll be high.
No little chip kick over the top for Ben Black to chase into acres of space. Guess who was there? Royston. But they couldn't just coordinate things there. They do keep it alive to Brannigan, but Brannigan heading for the sidelines, and that is a Dan Marino pass. And it's gone straight forward to Hardman.
Shad Royston, who's backing up at the middle of the path from that kick from Ben Black, just couldn't regather that ball just to offload it to him. But this is how dangerous Halifax are. They can smell something now.
Look at the skills. I'll tell you, I'm watching this game and I'm watching the intent and the intensity of these players. When you watch a game like this is what's called being in the zone. Players don't care about their own body. They have no regard for their own safety. They're just flinging themselves into every challenge, whether they've got the ball or defending the bloke that's got the ball.
Well, it's the end of a long, long season for these blokes. One that started last November. Pre-season training, Northern Rail Cup ties played in the chill of February, well, the snow of February. What was that all about, says Darryl Powell? It was a forward pass, says Robert Hicks.
Well, Kyle Briggs just looking to set his wingman away, Tommy Saxton. He's looked the most dangerous man in the Featherston team with the ball. Just going forward. But you've got to give credit to both of these sides. Darryl Powell about to put his head in his hands. Spoiled the Grecian 2000. But you've got to give credit to him. The breakage in play, and they've just come back out and they've still performed to a very high standard.
Well, here is Cherry Home, all patched up now, that gash taped up there.
Move! Hold. Hold.
As he plays the ball just inside his own half. Frank Watine now. Just the try and a goal between these two sides as Bezic and then Bannister take it forward for Halifax. The side that finished second in the table, well second. Looking to make up for last year's disappointment on this ground when they were beaten by the Barrow Raiders. Here comes Ben Black, and Black looking for an opening. And against a tired defence, that might be something that could come his way. Well, the pass from Bezic is a speculator. That's good work from Cherry Home on the last tackle. It's Holroyd who puts the kick in. It's not a bad one, but Saxton is there. Royston trying to get the ball off him.
Well, Graham Holroyd did well to get that ball away. But just have a little look. Every time Ben Black gets the ball, Shad Royston is on his shoulder. I think that combination is going to come up with a try.
And Ben Black, here's the take from Saxton, superb take. And that Ben Black play where he's scooting across the line, that's the special trademark play of Penkovic. If you see him come back out, expect some more of that.
But definitely Featherston Rovers have lost a little bit of momentum. They really were flying when they got into that 22-6 lead. But Halifax have come back strongly. Good, strong kick from Briggs over the head of Warrensey, but it sits up nicely for Warrensey, and then he comes roaring back, trying to burst through the chasing defence. But it was Wellham who made the tackle. Here's Wrench now.
Move! Wait.
Black for Mikaeli Izu. Of course, Halifax have had their problems this season, notably with their other big PNG star, Stanley G. No sign of him that relationship, not ending on the most amicable of notes.
Movement. Go.
And there was the Michael Ostick affair for Fax as well, with the unregistered player, cost him a Challenge Cup place. But there is still time for them to end this season on a high note. On the last tackle now, and Penkovic goes wide and almost out of the stand. And Matt Calland's anguish for the coach, Martin Gonzalez, and Martin Hall alongside him, like an Italian coaching team there. All hands and gestures.
Well, poor
And
pass.
there's why.
Poor pass from Penkovic. I think he was looking to find a touch, Judge.
Wait. Come on the line.
Well, have they got a chance their arm at this stage now? The clock is against them.
They have, Bill, but there's still 12 minutes to go. They've had all the field position. They're making more yards now in this part of the game than they have in the rest of the game. They get into the kicks, they're putting pressure on Featherston down this end of the park.
I'm not sure that's in them though, Tez. All they want to do is play, and we talked about how they enjoy that touch and pass.
Well, to be fair, that's what's got them back into the game, isn't it?
Hold, Macca. Hold. Hold. Go on, he's moving forward. He closes space.
Briggs. Oh, Briggs was looking for Finn.
Go. Play on.
Scruffy play the ball, play on, says the referee. Jamie Field with the offload, and now it's with Dane Manning, and Manning hounded by the Halifax defenders. It's the 5th tackle. It's a good set of 6 this from Halifax, but Briggs still has time to put the kick up, and that's a wicked one. Royston is underneath it, takes it well, does Shad Royston. The Bradford Bulls are getting a very steady player, and one that can come up with any number of tries, as we've seen this season.
I'd say he's a fantastic player, not a steady player. Rob Warranty looks to the break. Look at this, no problem whatsoever. Keeps his focus on the ball. Penkovic getting in from dummy half. They're catching Featherston with the speed, they play the ball.
And ominously for Featherston, Shad Royston hasn't scored today. 30 tries this season, he always pops up.
Well, here goes Warranty, another speedster from dummy half.
I'm telling you, Bill, I've got that feeling that we're going into Golden Point.
Holroyd, crossfield kick, and Saxton, has lost it. Head and feed to Featherston Rovers, to Halifax.
Well, even some of the best players make mistakes. Tommy Saxton, he was backing off, but he was put under pressure from Dylan Nash. But again, Graham Holroyd showing how important it is to have someone who can kick the ball. Look at that, perfect.
That's such a difficult skill, to catch that ball, knowing that a man will clank you as soon as you catch it. So he's trying to catch it, and in the split second, see and assess where the danger is coming from.
Well,
they don't always get it right.
He had to be aware where the touchline was when he's catching that ball as well.
Absolutely.
Warranty. Oh, a little juggle with the ball from Rob Warranty.
All Halifax's big players now are putting the hand up, commanding the ball.
Bannister drives that ball in. Where is Shad Royston? He's scored in the last 9 games, Royston has. He's got to be on the scoreboard tonight. Michaeli Aizu. Royston is lurking in back play at the moment. Here is Sam Barlow. 4 tackles gone. Featherston Rovers on their own try line, trying to withstand this assault. Holroyd, and there is Royston. Good tackle by Briggs, got a hold of an ankle and made sure he went to ground. Little grubber kick comes in, and it's well dealt with. It was Matty Dale, I think, who went down to gather that ball. The boots were flying there.
Oh, he had to be brave, Matty Dale, on that occasion. A neat little kick from Penkovic. He knew that he was under pressure. Kept his focus. Now look at the speed of the line from Halifax.
Here goes Tom Saxton, and again manages to get past the first defender. Has eventually his progress stopped by Michaeli Aizu. Liam Finn now. Finn. Ross Devorty. Devorty goes on his own. It's Nash who makes the tackle. That's the 5th tackle. Finn. And Finn, being pursued by Barlow, puts a kick straight down the middle. It's a good one. It's in between Patterson and Royston. And it's Patterson eventually who picks it up. It's Manning with a good follow-up tackle. The former Leeds Rhino, who made 1 Super League appearance for the Rhinos, did well there.
Liam Finn, all he had to do was have a little look up. Warranty was in the middle of the park. Just stick it down on the right-hand side.
I think it was the right kick, me. He dissected the winger and the fullback. He's popped out from dummy half.
But there was no winger on the right-hand side for Halifax.
It was a percentage kick. They don't have to score again, Tez.
It went backwards, says the referee. Nash did well, gets to his feet, manages to keep it alive. And now it's Penkovic. Penkovic up the middle. Penkovic is tackled by Hardman. He went for his man and he got him there. Royston, Holroyd, they're motoring forward now at Halifax. Out wide to Brannigan. Brannigan chip kick. Patterson will chase. Back goes Hardacre to tidy up.
Well, the kick from Brannigan on the ball tackle. I'm not so sure whether his teammates were expecting that.
Well, the nerves are starting to jangle here.
Well, they're turning this big set of forwards on. He's had a fantastic game, Stuart Dickens.
That's a big drive, that, at this point in the game, to stick it under your wing and gain 10 metres. It's a big drive from the captain.
Gratian, that's the fourth tackle. Featherston ahead by 22 points to 16, but by no means safe against a Halifax side that can score from anywhere. But it's Featherston in possession at the moment. That's the fifth tackle. And Briggs will kick for safety, will he? No, a little grubber kick ahead, and he will chase it as well. Oh, wonderfully tapped up for Patterson, and now Patterson brings it back. Patterson has Dickens ahead of him. Dickens will look to make the tackle, and he does. Good support as well.
Good play by Stuart Dickens. Ian Hardman completing that tackle. Look at this little tap up from Brannigan.
Here is Ben Black now, and Black for Barlow. Barlow looking for a gap and then says, oh, what the heck, I'll just go for somebody.
Wait.
Tackled on the 20-metre line. Bezic now. Coming up towards the last 5 minutes of this game.
Go.
And now, here is Brannigan. Brannigan for Bannister, and Bannister has the try. And Halifax have come back from being on the ropes and taking a pummeling to surely level this with the kick to come. With a marksman like Lee Patterson in their armoury. Bannister, sixth try of the season. Well, he'll expect his efforts to be consolidated with the conversion. And Steve Bannister, another player who's drifted around but has found a home this time at Halifax with what could be a crucial try here.
Halifax's speed is isolating the big men, and Luke Brannigan done ever so well when he takes the ball to the line and he pulls in the Featherston defenders. You can see that Spears goes in for Brannigan, but that's a good line from Stephen Bannister. Look at the skip out. Gets inside Carl Briggs, leave him wanting, and Tim Spears just couldn't prevent that try. And look what that means to the Halifax fans. Get in there, son.
Darryl Powell, furious, I would imagine, at the way the advantage his side has been squandered. And Patterson looking battered and bruised, but this to level the scores and maybe take us to golden point extra time. It's 22 apiece here. And Steve Bannister, in his third grand final, has made Darryl Powell and his team sweat. 22-4 ahead they were, but Matt Callan's men have shown character to come back to level the scores with 4 minutes to go here.
Well, I was talking to a little old man at half-time, and he said that he thinks that it's going to go to the golden point. How right he may be.
Well, we've had extra time previously in the Championships and National League One in 2004, Lee against Whitehaven, and 2008, of course, Salford against the Crusaders, when the Crusaders thought they were home and dry. And now, can somebody get into the position to land a one-pointer before we have to go to the golden point?
Do you play expansive now, or do you just stick it up your jumper, 5 drives in a kick, and try and get that at the other end of the park?
I don't think Halifax have got anything else in them. That's how they play. They play on instinct, they play with speed and good skill. And Featherston are just clinging on by their fingernails.
Holroyd is going from an outrageous distance for 1 point. And Briggs and Holroyd just having a little sector in back play. Still going on, that's been going on since early in the game.
Well, you said that was an outrageous distance. I played with Graham Holroyd against the Leeds, 4 Leeds against Swinton when he got a drop goal from 45 metres away, so he's done it before, he's the bloke to do it.
Was Tommy Saxton.
But now it's the turn of Featherston to see whether they can get up the other end of the field. That's 4 tackles gone. Have they got it in them to get into position to try and land it? Well, if it is, it's going to be a similarly long-range one. It'll be, no, it's Briggs, in fact. They're going to run it. Briggs will try and keep it alive. He does. And then Smeaton, I think it is, who puts the kick in, and it's Warranty who brings it back.
I think that was an attempted drop goal. Just landed in his hands, and in surprise and astonishment, he tried the world's worst drop goal.
2 minutes to go. 22 points apiece. Halifax now trying to get the ball within range, but Barlow is still 25 metres away from his own try line. Warranty now.
If there's any set of 6 that you need to restrict the opposition's yardage, it's this set of 6 for Featherston.
Patterson. Royston through again, finds Patterson. Oh, he's gone without it. And now it's the chance. Oh, the referee's going to bring him back. The referee's going to bring him back. I thought Hardacre was away there.
Well, this could be a telling moment in the game. Shad Royston gets the ball free.
It's 3 inches forward.
Just forward.
It's the correct decision. Correct decision. He's had a great game, Robert Hicks, with all that's going on. We commend.
Well, there's the drop kick from Smeaton.
Yeah,
it's a worm burner.
It is the worst drop goal ever.
That is a veritable daisy cutter.
What I was saying about Robert Hicks, in all the...
there's a knock-on! Good work from Sam Barlow on Jamie Field.
The referee has stopped the clock.
Ooh.
Look at that from Barlow.
There's a little sneaky hand in.
Referee missed that one.
He needs to go to confession. And look at those 2 lads.
Well, defend this set of 6. Jamie Field needs his teammates to help him out now.
We are into the last minute of this championship grand final. Halifax have come from 22 points to 4 to come to within whiskers of winning this game. They've still got an opportunity to.
And that is the sign of a very, very good team. When they're 18 points behind and they still think they can win the game.
They're going to go straight up the middle and get as close as they can, and then hope that Graham Holroyd in his final game can land the 1-pointer.
He's out the back.
They've got time maybe. They've got time maybe for another drive, have they? Is it coming now from Holroyd? Not.
Oh, he's just directing. He wants Big Sam Barlow to set it.
Here it is.
The Halifax fans behind those posts, willing this ball to come their way between the uprights. Featherston hound him down. Holroyd goes for it. The Fax fans hold their breath. It's wide of the target.
Not much in it. Not much in that at all. Look at this. The pressure. Look, 7 players putting pressure on Graham Holroyd. Still manages to get that ball away. Fortune just to the left of the sticks.
The kick from Finn.
Well,
looking for touch.
Liam Finn kicks it out. That is a scrum.
But there won't be time. There is the hooter. And this grand final has ended 22 points apiece. We will have extra time, golden point extra time, periods of 10 minutes each way. And Daryl Powell must be furious at the way his side have let a 22 points to 4 lead slip, to the extent that now they face extra time. And we'll be back with that once we've heard again from Eddie in the studio.
Well, we can't get golden point extra time in the Super League playoffs, but in this grand final situation in the championship, we have had, this is the 2nd time now, isn't it? Remember Salford and Crusaders not long ago, and tonight we have got Featherston and Halifax going for golden point in extra time. And Matt Calland, the Halifax coach, he must be delighted, Brian, from 22-4 down. They forced a draw after 80 minutes.
Wow, just when we thought Featherston might kick on, that is a tremendous effort to come back in these circumstances in a grand final with so much pressure on you, to come back from 22-4 down to draw this game as we go into the final whistle is blown. They've given themselves a wonderful opportunity. I'm not sure who I'd say is in the ascendancy when we start this golden point period. You have to look at who's got the people capable of kicking the a one-pointer.
Well, Graham Holroyd's name stands out a mile, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And one player I want to single out is Sean Penkovic. I thought he has been absolutely outstanding. He's been a real live wire for Halifax. He sparked them up. Warrants he's run the ball out. They're going to have to get in that position. It's not just about the kick, Eddie. It's about getting into the position to take the kick. And you're right to point out Holroyd. He's certainly well able to hit it, although the last effort he had was a little bit wide.
Well, this is vital because it will decide who kicks off, who gets the ball.
Kick off. Which way do you want to play? As you are. Kick that way.
And they are staying as they were at the end of the match, and it looks like Featherston are going to kick off.
Now you got opportunities here to play for a try and play to set up position as well. So, I mean, the mistake would be, and we've seen it happen sometimes in Australia with golden point, the team will rush out to try and charge down the kicker. Next thing, the ball will be shifted through the hands and the try will be scored. So the defending team has got to be on red alert here, and don't just focus solely on the kicker if you think they're setting up for a one-pointer.
Nerves will be jangling here, won't they?
I mean, this is
I mean, a whole season comes down to this.
Absolutely. Tom Saxton, he's been outstanding as well for Featherston.
All right, they're ready for us. Back to Bill.
A game that kicked off 2.5 hours ago is still going on. Massive marathon effort from these two sides. Okay, they had a long break while that stand was evacuated, but we are still going into the night here. It's like a tennis final as well. This is like a Wimbledon final or something from the US Open. But it's Halifax in possession. Now they're looking to get up the other end of the field. Remember, 1 point will do. And Penkovic with a great drive has got them almost halfway there.
Well, both of these teams now, they've got to be disciplined. They can't invite the opposition down into their end of the park.
4 disciplined overs. Wait.
Maloney plays the ball just inside his own half. Here's Michaeli Aizu. And Michaeli Aizu with a great offload. And Royston onto Maloney now. Scruffy play the ball. Black will go for it. It cannons off Liam Finn. And I think they're going to get another set of 6, are they? They are!
Was that a charge down or did he turn his back?
Well, the referee, Robert Hicks, said he made a play for it. So, what more could Halifax want? First attempt fails, but they get the ball back. And this time, surely, Graham Holroyd will say to Ben Black, listen, just leave it to me.
Yeah, correct decision from the referee, Robert Hicks.
Now then, here's Sam Barlow. Oh, this is surely the position now. But it's Black who's going to go for it. Black for the 1 point to win the grand final for Halifax, and he's done it! Ben Black strikes. It hasn't taken Halifax long. And the golden point and the glory goes to Halifax. Featherston are heartbroken. And it's that man, Ben Black, who has got the golden point for his side. A team that were on the ropes at 22 points to 4 down and seemingly heading for defeat have come back to snatch it in extra time. Despair for Featherston. But the glory to Halifax, beaten 3 times this season and beaten pretty emphatically by this Featherston Rovers side. Written off before this game, a club with problems off the field, but they have put everything right tonight. And they owe it to that man, Ben Black.
What an incredible performance from this Halifax team. To come back in the manner that they did speaks volumes about them as people, about the way they've been coached. Everybody was watching Graham Holroyd, expecting him to get the kick. It was possibly on the wrong side of the pitch for Graham Holroyd, and it was Ben Black who stepped up to the mark. It's been one of the strangest days of my life, this. One of the strangest games of rugby league. Matt Calland is delighted.
The side that was beaten here by the Barrow Raiders last season has got satisfaction this time round. And they've come back strongly, not just from that disappointment, but from the fact that they seem to be on their way to defeat again. And Ben Black, his first drop goal since 2004, has made it a disappointing night for Darryl Powell and his side, but Ben Black is very much the man of the moment. He is the man with the golden boot, and he's with Rod now.
Ben, there's been a lot of famous moments in Halifax's history. They'll be talking about that drop goal for a long time to come. Just tell us about it from your perspective.
Mate, it's one of the best moments of my career, and mate, it was the hardest 80 minutes I've played in a long time. Come down to that extra time and could have went either way, and you know, we put it down. I think we were on top for most of that second half, and to drop that goal was just amazing. You know, we've had a tough year, and it's just topped it off, and I'm just so proud of the boys, and you know, Featherston, to their credit, mate, they're an awesome side, and I think the best team on the day, but mate, I'm just happy as.
Around about halfway through the second half, you looked like you're going to be on the wrong end of a caning, because it was 22-4 and they were starting to look like they were going to cut loose. Where did that comeback come from?
Mate, our side's full of belief, and you know, that's all we were saying through the whole game. We believe in each other, and I think we showed it. You know, Featherston are a great side, and us to come back to that and win it is astronomical, and well, I'm just so proud, and you know, I just can't wait to celebrate with the boys now and really enjoy the moment.
We won't keep you any longer. Go on, Ben. Thanks very much. Matt Calland comes in. I'll tell you what kind of a day has this been for you and everyone connected with Halifax Rugby League Club, Matt?
Just tremendous, so pleased. You know, we've saved the best performance of the season for the grand final. I thought we were really good in the first half, and we're just unbelievable in the second half. You know, to win by a point, there's never a dull moment with this team. That just sums up our season.
A hand on heart, come on, you were 18 points behind around about 55 minutes into this game. Did you honestly believe there was a chance of a comeback from there?
Always believe that. That's all we've talked about in the camp all week. We needed to believe it, and we certainly did that tonight.
And then you missed a couple of drop goal shots in normal time. Graham Holroyd tried to let Ben Black have a go. Again, did you feel your chances had gone in normal time when Graham missed those couple of shots?
No, I had a feeling we were going to snick it at the end of the game there. We've trained all week on the pitch without any posts, so we've not been able to practice drop goals, but you know, it paid off in the end, even though we didn't practice.
I'll tell you what, it's been a lot of tough moments in this season, Matt. It's ended on a terrific note. Well done. Go and celebrate. Thanks very much for talking to us.
Thanks a lot. Can I just say to my mum in America who's watching it live from California, hi Mum and Ken.
I bet she enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Matt.
Hands across the seas for Matt Calland, and Ben Black with the golden point, and Darryl Powell, well, he must be absolutely heartbroken. They were 22 points to 4 up. They were coasting it, and they took the foot off the gas. I mean, it's an old saying, the cue went on the rack, Brian.
Well, yeah, well, I think there was a bit of that, Eddie, probably in it, and also we'd give credit, wouldn't we, to Halifax.
Halifax
Yeah,
was terrific.
Absolutely, they were dogged and they stuck in there, and really, I didn't give them a chance coming into this. I thought this Featherston side was too good all season. I thought they had them coached, you know, and they were just building to this grand final, but to stick in a game, to be 22-4 down and then drag yourself back into the game, and Featherston at that time, they'll be fighting, they'll be thinking we need to do something about this, but the momentum started going with Halifax, and in the end, that man there with the coolest head on the field, everybody thought it'd be going to Graham Holroyd, and he stepped up, and it's a pressure play, and he came up with the goods. So well done to him, and well done to the Halifax side. They've had tough times on and off the field, but they've done very well tonight.
Yes, they have, and they're putting their home jerseys on to go up and receive the trophy. And it's a sad day for Featherston Rovers. They finished top of the table, and they beat this Halifax team, Terry, out of sight during the course of the season. But on the day, on grand final day, Halifax came up with the goods.
Well, again, that's the one. Beat them 3 times, and they've put them to the cleaners in some of the games. In the semi-final, leading to get into the final, they were absolutely fantastic, Featherston. But Halifax, what character in that team to come back from 22 points to 4 down?
Well, there we are. That's the thing that they've all been wanting. Halifax are the championship winners of 2010, just picking the trophy up from Liz Maitkin, the head of sponsorship at the Co-op Group, and Bev Risman, the president of the Rugby League, there as well. But the Halifax fans, who had to change ends and move from one end of the pitch to the other because of the fire underneath the stand here, the minor fire that led to the evacuation of the stands. Those Halifax supporters, well, they conducted themselves with dignity, and they went from one end of the field to the other, and the Rugby League thanks them for their patience and for their good conduct. Apparently the problem was they think a cigarette butt was thrown to the floor, and this is a non-smoking stadium, I think I'm right in saying. So somebody was smoking who shouldn't have been.
I hope it wasn't me dad. But let's give credit to both sets of players here. 2.5 hours they had to keep the focus.
Yes.
They were playing in a final. The game got disrupted. They had to take a break for 30, 40 minutes, and they've still come out in the second half and put on a show like they did.
Great moment for David Larder, wasn't it, when he received the trophy?
He was very good, Rob Warranty. I thought he had a strong game. He returned the ball well. And obviously we saw his try was the only thing they had to show for a long period of this game. His individual effort, length of the field.
Great moments. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's Super League Grand Final, Championship, Championship 1, Championship, Conference National, or whatever it is. If you win a trophy at the end of the campaign, well, you've had a great season, haven't you? No matter what happens.
Oh, absolute. Challenge Cup aside, this is all these guys could play for.
Exactly.
This is the pinnacle of their season.
And this team, early on in the year, they didn't even qualify for the later stages of the Northern Rail Cup. Like the way that they were playing, it wasn't the best, but they've come back and they've turned it around. They have been absolutely fantastic. To get this result against Featherston, who, as I say, in the semi-final put 40 points past them, yet they still had that belief that they could get the result. Unbelievable.
Yes, and well, a very, very peculiar day, because we've had the problems at that end of the ground with the fire, and we had the absolutely tragic news before that game kicked off that Terry Newton had been found dead at his home in Wigan. We talked to Brian about that prior to the game, and we got some reaction as well from Barry McDermott. And Terry, when they were talking, you were just taking in the enormity of the news. I know you were a very close friend with Terry Newton. Yeah. This is a jubilant day for Halifax, but for the game of rugby league, a very sad day.
It's a very, very sad day for everyone that knew Terry Newton. He wore his heart on his sleeve, and in my eyes, he's one of the best lads that I've ever played with. He'd do anything for you. You knew that when you played a game and you looked to the man at the side, which was always Terry Newton when I played my days at Wigan, that he was there, and he'd always back me up. He would never let me down, and I'm absolutely devastated for Tony, his dad, Val, his mum, Stacey, his wife, and the kids. Man, when I was told just after the first game, I was absolutely gobsmacked. An absolute gentleman, and I say it to everyone that I meet about Terry Newton. He's one of the nicest men I have ever met.
Yes, I mean, the sad part about it, he will be forever remembered now because he was banned from the game for the use of growth hormone and a steroid, and he will go down in history in rugby league as a cheat. But as a man, as far as you're concerned,
outstanding, and obviously it's still not sunk in, Eddie. And the thing is, should we have done more, like to help Terry?
He seemed, I mean,
I talked to him yesterday.
You spoke to him yesterday?
I spoke to him yesterday, and I was having a crack with him yesterday, and there was
no sign.
No signs, nothing about the way we're going to meet. We were going to meet next week and discuss a few things. And
I mean, on Brian's programme, when he had him as his guest, there obviously was no sign of this, and he was talking very positively about the future. He wanted to be involved with the youngsters, trying to keep them away from drugs and all that sort of business. That's why this has become such a shock.
Do you know what, Eddie? He's never tried to hide behind anything, Terry Newton. He put his hands up straight away, said, yes, I did it. He come clean straight away. He phoned me up. I remember I was on holiday in Tenerife, and he told me, just come clean, said, I'm going to come out and I'm going to tell the whole story.
Well, it's a sad day for the game, and a sad day for the Newton family, obviously, and our deepest condolences from all of us here at Sky Sports, it goes without saying. But, well, as they say, life goes on, and it's grand final week in the Engage Super League. We have a preview programme. Saints against Wigan is a match we're previewing, of course, and it's on Sky Sports HD2 at 7 and Sky Sports HD1 at 9. And then the game itself, and what a game it will be. The game of the season, I would suspect. The ultimate local derby, they call it in this part of the world, Saints and Wigan, and it's all going to unfold at Old Trafford on Saturday Night Live with us, 5:30 HD2. And then the following morning, the spotlight will switch to Australia for the NRL Grand Final. The Dragons against the Sydney Roosters at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 a.m. on Sky Sports HD3. Meanwhile, the celebrations go on here at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium for the Halifax players and the supporters. They have won the Cooperative Championship. They're the champions of 2010. But of course, dark cloud hanging over the game itself with the sad news about Terry Newton. From all of us here at Warrington, goodbye.
I spend my days in a dreamy haze, thinking of what to do.
Wayne Retty with the first try.